I want to talk about a statement made recently in a former legislative space, one that trivialized sexual violence and was delivered with laughter, as if it were a joke. I won't repeat the words because they don't deserve amplification, but the intent and impact cannot be ignored. When someone elected to represent people speaks about sexual violence and casual cruelty, it sends a chilling message to the survivors of to women and to society at large that their trauma is negotiable, laughable, and expendable. That wasn't said in a private setting and it wasn't said accidentally. It was said publicly on record by someone entrusted with power. That is exactly why this moment matters, not as controversy, not as viral content, but as test of whether we believe that leadership requires empathy, restraint, and basic human decency. If statements like these pass without consequences, then we are normalizing is the idea that authority excuses harm. And at this point, I genuinely have to ask, if women are not even treated as full citizens, if their dignity isn't considered worth protecting, then what is the point of calling ourselves a democracy? Why are we building a nation if we were willing to sacrifice an entire section of society in the name of power, ego, and so called masculinity? People who perform toughness and dominance on public stages, who make violent and degrading statements, collapse morally the moment empathy is required. And then you realize their strength exists only in words, never in responsibility. This is not the first time such statements have been made, and that's exactly the problem. Nothing happens. No serious legal consequences, no accountability. If it forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth, is justice reserved only for the middle class and the powerless? While the influential walk free, why do survivors have to fight for years just to be heard while those who normalize harm continue their lives untouched? If these keeps happening, it's not just a failure of leadership, it's failure of society. And the most frightening part is knowing that despite all of this, despite all of these degrading remarks and comments made on public spaces where people preach and try to make a narrative about and morally police people what to wear, what to not, and what culture to follow, some people will still vote these figures back into power. So the real question isn't about them anymore, it's about अस कि सोचने वाली बात तो ये है ना कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं एज एन इंडिविजुअल, हम इन्हें वापस पावर क्यों दे रहे हैं हमारे ऊपर डिक्टेट करने के लिए? थिंक अबाउट इट.